I'm Clyde Lewis. You're listening to Ground Zero. We are live at the Skype Live Studio, SkypeLiveStudio.com, SkypeLiveStudio.com. Oh, what a crazy night it's been. Trying to explain. Whoa, something's happening there. That was weird. Okay, time travel. Trying to explain time travel, and we're about to do this experiment here. And as I said, this is live radio, so anything can happen. Now, Marshall, we can give him the roving microphone since it's now patched into the system. So, Ron, if you have that microphone, give it to him because he's going to be explaining. And we have, like I said, SkypeLiveStudio.com. We have video that he's doing a little presentation before he does this. And then,
no, I just want to go ahead and do it.
Oh, okay.
Then I'll do the presentation later.
Oh, you do the presentation? You're going to do it now? I'm
going to do the experiment now.
Okay.
I'm going to get it over with.
Okay.
I've been ready to do this thing since, the show began.
Okay. So, please cast your eyes over here. And for those of you that want to get close enough, you're not going to go into the wormhole. You're not going to die. I had somebody ask me if we're actually going to burn down the studio tonight.
For those of you in the front, do you detect any kind of a faint odor in the air? No? Okay, good. The ozone has... You do? That's ozone. Now, ozone is normally created when high voltages are being employed. Yeah, right.
I can spell it now.
That's another reason I wanted to stop, to get this over with. But we're not using high voltages here, so that tells you something significant is really going on. Now, all right, so let me see here. All right. If you notice, I'm aiming the remote control directly at the Fairchild fan. That's what this device is called, the Fairchild fan. And now, if I go around it, it finally triggered the thing because I wasn't going through it anymore. I went around the thing.
So what he's doing is he's trying to activate a monitor with this infrared, and he did. Yeah, for those of you that are there, you can participate here. But that's what he just did.
But you saw initially, I was doing it and it wasn't working. Okay, because I was aiming at this. The ozone you're smelling, it's because of what's being done with this field, okay? So the infrared rays were going through here, and they weren't coming out the other side and trigger out the device. I had to go around it and trigger it. There, it was shut off, okay? So
that's amazing.
I want to explain to you what we could do. Theoretically, what we could do is we would set up an antenna and bombard this region here with an electromagnetic signal that we believe we could use to condition where those wormholes open up to. So what we would then do is in another area have another device like this with the same kind of signal hooked up to it, and then we would have another device. And what we would do is bombard that one so that would influence the wormholes that it's creating to be connected to the ones from the first machine. So theoretically what we'll be able to do, if we can get this thing to work, we're not doing this here, this is another experiment, with two of these devices, we would beam it at this. It would not trigger that one, but it would trigger a second device because the waves from this thing are coming out of that second machine, the second Fairchild fan, and it would trigger that device. And if we do that, that means theoretically we could then put together a faster than light communication thing, because what would happen is the signal goes through here and it would come out immediately to the device that the wormholes would be connected with. So it could be on the other side of the universe, and you could do that. So that's really super radical because the technology behind this is the technology that we're developing for warp drive. And the problem with warp drive is if you're traveling really fast, out there in space somewhere, the communication is going to go close to the speed of light or the speed of light. So what happens is if you're way out there, it takes longer and longer to communicate. And then pretty soon you're not going to be able to communicate with Earth anymore at all, period. But with this faster than light communication possibility, that wouldn't be a problem. So it wouldn't matter where the spaceship was. You could communicate with them faster than the speed of light because you'd be doing it through wormholes. Now, just to give you a little bit more of a basis in the scientific area, what happens is this whole idea is based on or is similar to the work of Luke Butcher, I believe his name is, in New Scientist magazine from May of 2014. Let's see, the May or June issue, because it came out. Yeah, it should be probably labeled the June issue. Luke Butcher was talking about opening up micro wormholes and maybe keeping them open through an effect called the Casimir effect. And he said if you could do that, you could send a photon in, and maybe they would be able to go somewhere else. He wasn't sure whether or not you'd be able to use information that way. But what we've just done is shown how this device can open up micro wormholes, and I can send infrared through. So that basically is that. And I'm going to cut this off so we can spare you guys as long.
Well, I want to ask, though, if we could, for the audience that's watching, I need to ask you to go through, because a lot of this, I think a lot of people don't understand what you're trying to show them.
Okay.
So if you could demonstrate exactly how this is creating a wormhole, why you were proving it, and what the experiment is entailing.
Remember it wouldn't work before?
I'm completely lost.
See, it's working now. It's going to come on. I was aiming right at that. Remember, I aimed at it before. I didn't do it until I went around it. So what I'm saying is that this device is a metal fan. It is highly conductive, okay? And what happens is that the signal coming from this device here, when it hits metal, it creates a special field that has gravitic properties if it's in motion. And since these fan blades are going about 100 miles an hour, and each fan blade is enveloped by that field, it's contracting space as it moves through space, and it's just ripping. I mean, it's just grabbing. That's what the torsion effect is. It's like twisting it, and then what happens is that's affecting the micro wormholes that are all around us in the quantum foam of space-time. These micro wormholes are too small to be interacted with. In fact, they're so small that physicists don't even think that many of them aren't sure they even exist. But the theory is they're so small and they open and close so rapidly that nothing can get inside. But if you apply the model of torsion to that same condition, to those same things, what happens is you then get a situation where those wormholes are forced to stay open longer, they're forced to stay open and become bigger, and it just effect builds up until finally they're large enough for infrared and radio waves to go through them. And that's why it disappeared. I was aiming at this. It didn't go through to the device. It just vanished right here in center. And we know that it works regardless which way you go with this. And that was the really cool part about it, because that means we have a region here in the center that is opening up to somewhere else. And you want that, that double-sided, toroid effect. Overall, it's not a single toroid effect. So imagine a piece of Swiss cheese attached to a drill, and then you turn a drill on, and you got these different size holes spinning around really fast. That's essentially what was going on in this area right here. So that's why it failed to work, because I'm aiming at it and it didn't work. It didn't go through, but when I switched my kill to the field and all that, bingo, I did. So VF press, please. All right, this is basically background on the Fisher Hunk fan. This is the same device, although it's on a monitor that's with the color cranked up. And then, like it says right there, this video is shot off a color monitor. And what you're going to see, by the way, is on the upper right-hand quadrant, this is going to become yellow. This yellow is going to pour into it. We don't know why that's happening. It doesn't happen yet, but it's what's getting ready to happen. But that is an effect of that field being on, okay? We don't know why those colors are there in the first place, but the colors are normal. This from cranking up the monitor color. But when that color changes and goes yellow, that's like, whoa, what is going on there? We still don't know. What's going to happen, and I can't see it from this angle, but I think it's started to happen. It's getting ready to happen, because the field is called STDTS, Space-Time Dilator Transport System. And now the yellow is starting to happen, according to the thing. I can't tell from this angle.
Yeah, it's starting to connect all the way around.
Yeah, okay, so that's why that is happening, we don't know. But that was one of the first indications that this technology was actually doing something weird. This is from 2012 when I first put it together. So we're going to see some other optical effects here in a minute that I showed that were happening when I gave a demonstration of how it was warping space, which is the first test that we did, to some high school kids in a class in Bexley, Ohio. Yeah, it's just, see, it's like we're still researching as to why. We don't know why that's going on.
So you don't know why that yellow is increasing the way it is, and it continues to grow.
Right. It is. It's part of what's going on with the field. So, and then in a second here, like I said, we're going to go to some other video, and then I'll go on and take more questions or whatever. But, oh yeah, by the way, those little kind of flashes, those aren't coronal discharges. Those are just reflections of a strobe light I had running. Oh yeah, and here's one where it shows how it changed direction, or it appeared to, because it changes speed. And right now it's kind of doing this kind of a jerky thing, but then it's going to change and rapidly go in a different direction. That shows how it was changing speed. But we're not attached. We didn't have anything attached to the motor. In fact, for those of you here, you can see how the cabling is attached to the frame, but not the motor. We're not doing anything to the motor. It spins faster because of the field that's around the blades. Now here we are. This is some of the equipment set up in a high school class. And the funny thing about it was that I had these students involved with the device. This is before we knew about the micro wormhole thing. And what you're going to see is a camera angle change. So you can see it when the lights are turned out, and we have a strobe light on it. We were using the strobe light kind of like a mechanic uses, like the forget what you call it now. Like the timing light. Right. So we use the strobe light as a timing light to show that, for example, at 60 seconds or above, the fan would get out of sync with the strobe light. But at 60 seconds or less, with the field turned on, it would go out of sync. So that meant there's something definitely was going on. Now, you can't tell about that synchronization process by this video. But what you are going to be able to see is that all of a sudden it's going to start to glow. All of a sudden the reflections are going to start to kick in, and it's going to start to look like it's glowing. And then what's also going to happen, you're going to see these kind of weird kind of effects where you see violet kind of arms coming off of it. Which
well,
of course,
we got to go. We're taking a break, but
yeah,
you can
sorry.
continue doing the demonstration on camera. We're going to take a break right now on Ground Zero. Marshall Barnes is showing us everything at SkypeLiveStudio.com. This is some amazing stuff that he's showing us, both visual, and of course he's probably going to do the experiment again in front of people, and we're going to take the time to show you exactly what's going on, because this is amazing what we're seeing here. We'll be back with more Ground Zero. Don't go away. So I have to, we're having an experience here that I guess in the audience here you could feel it and people are witnessing it, okay? So here's the deal. So during the break, for those of you that are watching on the screen right now, during the break, I said to Marshall, hey, for the audience that's watching at home, I'm sure, it happens so fast, I don't think people understand what's going on here. So I said to him, could you please do the experiment again? And he says, you said I have to fire up the fan again, and it'd take a lot of power to get that wormhole.
Well, it was the field.
Yeah.
What I had.
So what happens is the fan is off, okay, but the hole that he created is still here. I don't know if it's freaking me out because, you can smell it too. The ozone that he created to create the hole is still here. Because what happens is that fan that you were seeing, if you're watching this at Skype Live Studio, he showed the fan on the video and what it does and how it creates this expanding yellow halo. And he doesn't know why it happens, but it happens. So we can't see the expanded yellow halo. But what we can see is with the fan turned off, the hole still exists because he tried to turn on, he pointed in the area where the hole should be. He tried to turn on the monitor. He couldn't do it. So he had to go around the area where the hole was to turn it on, and it worked. So what we're seeing here is the fan does not necessarily have to be on, right?
The field area has to be created. Now, how long it takes for it to go away is another thing.
Okay, so can you try?
And that's what happened.
Can you try it again to see if the hole is down or up?
It should be up, and I can't.
It's not doing it.
Right.
Oh my God!
I go around.
Yeah, anybody applaud to let the audience know out there that this is happening?
See, when I went around, the thing came on.
This is unbelievable. I'm blown away now. At first I was sitting going, "What the hell's going on?" And then I told him, I said that when we were doing the prep for the audience knows this because behind the scenes we have to prep before we go into the air.
Right.
So I'm doing the prep, and I said, "Now, Marshall, in order for this to be interesting, you got to be able to do it again." And he says, "I can't turn the fan on, Clyde, because I need to power up again for the wormhole to work." And then all of a sudden he says, "Look, the wormhole hasn't collapsed yet," and it hasn't. And that I'm blown away by that. I'm
Yeah, well,
completely blown away.
it's running now, but the
Oh, it is? Okay.
the point being that, and it's not just one wormhole; it's like a whole bunch of them.
micro wormholes. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But there, for some reason, it didn't go away. The effect was still there.
It's still there.
Yeah, but
And it's still there now.
well,
you turned the fan back on.
Yeah, it's on, but I killed the signal going to it.
So you killed the
It's
signal.
going to collapse again. I just want to spare the audience that ozone, because ozone is a caustic gas. It's not good to breathe it in.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought
safety first.
It made you high.
boys and girls.
I thought it made you high. They'll all get high tonight.
No, not this kind.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, she knows.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it ain't good. So
Don't inhale ozone. It's a caustic gas.
It is.
And maybe that's why
I looked
we're
into
all
it.
high, and we're making and this whole wormhole thing is
No, no,
high.
no.
We're all high. I'm just kidding.
No, what happened
It's
was
amazing.
I looked into it when I started experimenting with this, and I read about it. I'm like, because we were generating it, and it was like, I don't know if we got to, breathe this stuff in, and found out you're not supposed to. So.
Yeah.
Well, okay, the music's playing. That means we're ending the show. But I just want to say that while I was sitting here trying to figure out what was going on, I finally got dumbfounded by Marshall's experiment, because it's amazing to see that even though the fans turned off and the wormhole has not collapsed yet, that once again we see that this infrared, whatever it was that moves the... Are you doing it again?
Yeah, I'm trying to, and it's weird.
It's done. It's... Well, I mean, we could spend the whole time on the air for another 3 hours going, this is cool, but it's not good radio. But did you guys like this? Is it amazing to you? It's amazing to me. So there you have it. First time for everything on the radio. We just created a wormhole in a studio. And for the audience that's watching, we're still trying to figure this out. Look at this.
That's weird.
This is just, my gosh. Like I say, I can sit here all night going, how
Yeah, it
cool
goes
this
that
is.
way.
What happened now?
No, I was able to get
Okay,
things
you were
on
able
my
to. All right, so is it down? Is it down now? Or
Yeah,
no?
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God. Okay, thank you all for being a part of this
I'm
tonight.
not.
Good night from
Oh, yeah,
Ground Zero.
it's down, it's
down
down,
now.
it's down,
Okay,
it's
it's down
down.
now. Good
It's
night,
down.
everybody. Thank you for being a part of this. This is amazing.